Let's get more on the story and speak to our correspondent Nicole Johnston, who joins us here in the studio. So, Nicole, tell us a bit more about Ismail Haniya. Who is he? And I believe there were two other candidates also up for election. What has the reaction been to his win?
Well, first of all, this was largely expected. He's been a main political figure inside Hamas for many years now. He was essentially number 2 in the organisation, a very well-known figure inside Gaza City. You would sort of often see him at Friday prayers. He lived in Shati refugee camp, in the beach camp. So someone from a very humble background, really seen as a man of the people who's been involved in the organisation for a long time. He was number 2 and now he's number 1. So really his appointment doesn't come as any sort of great surprise to those people watching what's going on inside Hamas.
What about the timing? Because they announced a new manifesto this week, Hamas did. Why are we seeing this shake-up in leadership now?
It does look as though it's all sort of happening at once, and perhaps to a certain extent it is, but Khaled Mashaal's 2 terms were up, so it was known that at some point, at some time this year, a new political leader would be announced. Yes, the timing is very close. They're in Doha at the moment, so perhaps they thought it's sort of better to get everything over and done with at once. But as I said, this was a sort of well-known fact. Khaled Mashaal was leaving, the job was up, and Ismail Haniya stepped into it.
Khaled Mashaal, obviously a leader for a very long time, nearly 2 decades. What is this leadership going to bring for the various relations that Hamas has got ongoing at the moment, very difficult ones at the moment?
That's right. I'd say at this stage it's really too early to tell. And, I mean, as I said, he was number 2 in the organisation anyway, so the way Hamas works with its Shura Council, I would say we're not going to see any huge shake-up overnight or even in the next few months. The most significant thing that has happened with Hamas, as you said, is the fact that they have announced this new charter or manifesto. In that, just to sort of background people a little bit, some of the most significant things: Hamas said it was in favour of a 2-state solution based on the 1967 borders, the first time they've said that. They also said that they don't have a problem with Jewish people. Their problem is with Israel and the Israeli occupation. The other significant point was they cut their ties with the Muslim Brotherhood organisation in Egypt. Hamas was always seen as an offshoot of that group. Their relationship with the Muslim Brotherhood had made it very difficult with the current regime in Egypt, which regards the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organisation. Hamas is isolated. The borders are closed. There's been a siege on Gaza for over 10 years. It needs to improve its relationship with Egypt to try and get that border reopened. At some point, it needs to try and improve its relationship with Fatah. One would think to get a national unity government to try and advance the Palestinian cause. Though many analysts would say, well, maybe for Hamas, there's nothing to achieve in doing that. You know, they have the Gaza Strip under control, they're in power there. Perhaps they would lose too much if they were prepared to give up that to form a government with Fatah.
I believe after today they are going to reopen that border. Nicole Johnston, many thanks for explaining that to us.